Five fascinating only existing photographs. Number 5. Bahadur Shah II. Bahadur Shah II was the last of the Mughal emperors that ruled over India for over 300 years. After the death of his father in 1837, Bahadur Shah II was placed on the throne when he was a little over 60 years of age. Like his father, he was a weak ruler due to the British domination over India at the time. During the War of Independence in 1857, the freedom fighters nominated Bahadur Shah as their commander-in-chief, but eventually the strong and organized British forces defeated them and Bahadur Shah was overthrown. He was arrested from Humayun's tomb, in Delhi, where he was hiding, and numerous male members of his family were killed and imprisoned by the British. In 1858, Bahadur Shah Zafar was tried for treachery and was exiled to Rangoon. He lived his last 5 years there and died in 1862 at the age of 87. The only known photograph was taken in 1858 just after his trial in Delhi and before his departure for exile in Rangoon. Number 4. Billy the Kid. This is the only indisputable photo of Billy the Kid and is said to be taken in January 1880 in front of Beaver Smith's Saloon Gambling Hall in Fort Sumner, New Mexico Territory. Billy the Kid, also known by the aliases Henry Antrim and William H. Bonney, was a 19th century American frontier outlaw and gunman. He was relatively unknown during his own lifetime but became a legend a year after his death when his killer, Sheriff Patrick Garrett, published a biography titled The Authentic Life of Billy the Kid. According to legend, Billy the Kid killed 21 men, one for each year of his life, but he most likely killed fewer than half that number. Number 3. Yes. Regina Jonas is known as the first woman to be ordained as a rabbi. After taking seminary courses and graduating as an academic teacher of religion, Jonas decided that she wanted to become a rabbi. She wrote a thesis called "Can a Woman Be a Rabbi According to Halakhic Sources?" After examining Jewish sources, Jonas concluded that women can become rabbis. Some rabbis responsible for ordinations refused to ordain her, but finally on December 27, 1935, Regina Jonas was ordained by the liberal Rabbi Max Steinman in Offenbach, who was the head of the Liberal Rabbis Association. In the late 1930s, Jonas worked sporadically as a pulpit rabbi, filling in for rabbis who had been arrested or deported by the Nazis. In 1942 she was arrested and deported to Theresienstadt. Even there she continued her work and helped build the crisis intervention service. She would also meet the trains at the station and help people cope with their shock and disorientation. Jonas worked tirelessly in Theresienstadt for 2 years. Then in 1944 she was deported to Auschwitz and murdered 2 months later at age 42. Number 2. Chief Seattle. Chief Seattle, more correctly known as Seattle, was the leader of the Suquamish and Duwamish Native American tribes and was known for his daring courage and leadership. He gained control of 6 of the local tribes while maintaining a good relationship with the Europeans. In 1852, out of respect, the early settlers at Duwamish renamed the town Seattle. In 1855 more and more settlers began to move into the area. The governor of Washington Territory called together the tribes to propose a new treaty that would send the tribes to a reservation and their lands would be controlled by the government. This conflict lasted many years, but through it all Seattle continued to counsel for peace. This only photo of Chief Seattle was taken around 1865 when he was close to 80 years old. Number 1. Frederic Chopin. Frederic Chopin was born in Poland but lived most of his life in Paris and is one of the best-known and best-loved composers of the Romantic period. Chopin's entire musical output was devoted to his favorite instrument, the piano, with over 200 solo compositions. Several of Chopin's pieces have become very well known, such as Revolutionary Etude and the Minute Waltz. Present-day evaluation places him among the immortals of music because of his awareness of the magical new sonorities to be drawn from the piano. The only existing photograph of Chopin was taken during the degenerative stages of his tuberculosis in early 1849. Chopin died later that year.